Hey guys, oh my stars, we are already on the sixth episode of this unbelievable life. And today we're going to tackle being an introvert and the impact it can have on your life. Yeah, so we're going to just dive right in. Merriam-Webster defines introvert as typically a reserved or quiet person who tends to be introspective and enjoys spending time alone. And guess what? I am here at the office and I have the whole thing to myself, and I can't be mad. I'm actually loving every minute of it. So, according to Healthline, introversion itself isn't a measurable personality trait as such. Rather, it refers to low levels of extroversion. Extroversion is one of the big five personality traits, and people with higher levels of extroversion tend to seek out social interaction and conversations, thrive in busy environments, have more outgoing nature, express themselves easily, enjoy being in a crowd, act more impulsively, and avoid spending time alone. Are you listening? Does this sound like you? Or since introverts lie on the other end of the spectrum, it tends to have the opposite characteristics. And introverts generally do better in quiet environments, enjoy spending time alone, and show more reservation than enthusiasm in social settings. Now, which sounds like you? According to WebMD, a psychologist named Carl Jung, and I hope I pronounced that right, uses the terms introvert and extrovert in the 1920s. The two personality types sort people into how they spend their energy. Introverts, he said, into their own minds to recharge, while extroverts seek out other people for their energy needs. So it's not really about, what you enjoy. It's more about how you spend your energy. So again, which are you? I am decidedly an introvert, and I find it funny when people are often surprised by that. However, I can't quote unquote people for too long because it just simply taxes me out emotionally and physically. A great example of this is coming off of Leadership Academy, which for some of you know that I did that. I did that all of last year, but we just came off of our graduation weekend a couple weeks ago. It was a 2-day session, and it culminated in me having to get up and speak in front of a room, not once, but twice that weekend. And the second time was in front of our final stakeholder dinner. So it was in front of friends, in front of colleagues, and in front of a room of the highest level people of our organization at not the local level, but at the state level. Did I completely type out my script? Yup. Did I grab the podium so I wouldn't shake like a leaf, just like our moderator suggested? You betcha. But I'm actually a little bit of a pro at public speaking, and it wasn't anything new to me. But I'm not terrible at it. And I knew that I should feel very confident in what I'm doing. But that doesn't mean that I wasn't physically sick for the 24 hours leading up to it because I was so nervous. And that doesn't mean that I didn't totally and absolutely crash for like 2 hours afterwards. Like literally went to my hotel room, didn't go out with anybody, and absolutely crashed. So that was what I did, and totally went back to my hotel room. Um, so how do I know that I'm an introvert? Again, it's not like I've got this title stamped across my forehead. What I did was I took a free personality test at a website called 16personalities.com. And according to them, my personality type is INFJ. Introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging personality traits. And they refer to this as an advocate personality type. And if you know me, you know, and this could not have been more spot on. According to them, the site goes on to say that advocates, INFJs, may be the rarest personality type of all, and they leave their mark on the world. We are idealistic and principled, and we aren't content to coast through life. They want to stand up and make a difference. And for advocate personalities, success doesn't come from money or status, but from seeking fulfillment, helping others, and being a force for good in the world. We have lofty goals and ambitions, and we shouldn't be mistaken for idle dreamers. People with this personality type care about integrity and we're rarely satisfied until we're done with what we know to be right. We are conscientious at the core and we move through life with a clear sense of values and we aim never to lose sight of what truly matters. Not according to other people or society at large, but according to our own wisdom and intuitions. Some famous INFJs are Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, and Marie Kondo. Were described as creative, insightful, principled, passionate, and altruistic. I mean, what wonderful descriptions of introverts. I mean, I really could not ask for more. And I could literally go on and on about the information ascertained from this website. Like, this is totally why I love this website because it has so much information about each of the personality types. And I love this site so much that I made my husband take the test too. And it's funny because he and I are like literally the polar opposites. And we made our kids take it too. And my kids are such a beautiful blend of the two of us. One child is 75% me and 25% Bob, and the other one is 75% him and 25% me. And I'll let you guys guess who's who. With that said, what are some tips and tricks for introverts? There is literally a book called The Introvert's Guide to Being Social, and they advise value your time. Know your commitments and how valuable your time is. Don't stretch yourself too thin. Know your priorities. Even if you do have some time, extra time, which for many of us is very rare, is committing to something new really how you want to spend your time. Practice saying no. This has been so hard for me, but I'm 44 years old and I'm finally after 44 years learning to say no. Be unapologetic. Sometimes, we are so conditioned to be apologetic for anything and everything that isn't even our fault. You need to learn to be unapologetic. And learn to say, I'll get back to you or maybe later. How many of us stretch ourselves too thin? Raising my hand here. How many of us don't know how to say no? Raising my hand here as in I used to not know how to say no. Burnout for an introvert can come on very quickly, no matter how hard or how long we've been working. And you need to be able to recognize the warning signs before it takes over you, because again, it can come on so fast. Another part of my introversion, and I've seen memes of graphics of this sort, is what goes on in our head can be looked at as a large circle, the largest circle, if you will. Those are the creative ideas, thoughts, words, and things that can just spin around in our minds. However, what we can actually break down and put into discernible ideas to communicate is the next circle layer. So all of those thoughts flying or floating around are only a fraction of them are what you're able to boil down to what you can communicate. Next, though, what actually comes out of our mouths is the smallest circle, if you can imagine. If you can imagine a very fine-tuned, pared down version of the two circles before it. Because a lot of times most introverts will think a lot before they speak, and they try to choose their words wisely, whether that is to be succinct or to not hurt somebody's feelings. For me, it takes a whole heck of a lot for me to fly off the handle or verbal vomit, as I've seen a lot of other people do when it's their turn to talk. So if you're on the other end of that, be respectful, and that person may not have much to say, but it took a lot of time and effort to communicate. Secondly, if you need help getting your feelings across, essentially that second bubble or circle, sometimes for me, it helps to write out my thoughts first. That second bubble or circle essentially kind of can be where some of your best ideas are created. And sometimes you can write them easier than you can say them. So this allows those feelings that you might not be able to speak right off the bat, to come out. So write them as a cheat sheet to get your voice or your opinion of what you want to say across. So either read it or use it as a cheat sheet. Next, if you want to work on your introversion, think of setting simple goals for yourself to come out a bit more of your shell or prolong your tolerance in social settings. Also, be conscientious of your friends going to events with you. They make the perfect wingmen. I'll have a funny story in one of my future episodes when we tackle my social anxiety. But in the meantime, just know that trusted friends make great backup shield to help you through uncomfortable social situations. My simple goal for myself is to put myself back out there more. Um, I say back out there because I usually go in waves of how much peopling and socialization I can tolerate at any given time. When I do go to a major event, though, I usually rally up buddies and make it a pack of people versus me flying solo. Lastly, use the bathroom trick. Feeling overwhelmed? Excuse yourself and decompress in the bathroom for a few minutes until you can compose yourself. You are totally allowed to lock yourself into a stall for a few minutes to breathe. I do it all the time as needed. Then once you're ready, you can go out and conquer the world. There is nothing that says you can't go hide in the stall and just go check your phone for a few minutes. I do it all the time. So my question is this: do you have an introvert story? Do you have a tip or a trick that you'd like to share? I would love to hear all about it. Tell me all the details. With that said, I thank you guys for listening. This episode was brought to you by Nikki Davis of the FC Tucker MD, from FC Tucker MD for all your real estate needs. Located in Southwest Indiana, we are local, we are global. We can help you from Indiana to across the globe. Give us a shout today. On the next episode of This UnBee-lievable Life, we'll be talking about anxiety and social anxiety and how impactful that can be on everyday life and how you just never know who is in the shoes by looking at them. Until then, my blessings to you for a productive and fabulous week. Make it extraordinary. Make it unbelievable. Thank you so much for listening.